Hello everyone. Welcome to another episode here of Veterans Talk. We're going to do a recap today of the year end, and I have two very special guests here with me, Barry Wingard and Wayne Jackson. Everyone knows Barry from the Veterans Park. He's a well-known figure here in the community, and Wayne Jackson with the Veteran Honor Guard is also a well-known figure. We'll start out today with, first of all, let's thank Francis Marin and the County Council for letting us get this information out to the veterans and the community here in the area. And we'll start out with Wayne Jackson. Here he's going to talk a little bit about the Veterans Honor Guard and some of the things that they have going on. Okay. Mr. Jackson.
Thanks, Randy, for having me on the show today. Like Randy said, I'm Wayne Jackson, Colonel retired United States Air Force, and I'm currently the commander of the Florence Veterans Honor Guard. Many of the viewers have seen our group in action here in the immediate Florence area. We pride ourselves in giving as many veterans as we can final honors for their funeral. We call that the last salute. We were formed back in the mid-90s as a need to provide veterans in the PD area this final honor. There simply were not enough active duty honor guard members from Shaw Air Force Base or Fort Jackson to provide that need. So we were formed for that sole need to provide that. We are very active, like I said, in the greater PD area. We perform typically about 165 to 180 services per year. The majority of our services that we provide are at the Florence National Cemetery. However, we do have a catchment area, I'll call it, which is a 30-mile radius from where I-20 and I-95 intersect. So we provide our services essentially as far north as perhaps Hartsville or as far south as Lake City. And when I get asked a question a lot, do you provide this service to all veterans? And the answer is absolutely yes. Yes, we do. We provide services for any eligible Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine member who is honorably discharged. And we work solely through the funeral home. So any family member that desires to have their loved one who was a honorably discharged veteran to have our services, please let your funeral home know, and we'll be glad to schedule that with our group and give the final honors for the veteran. Right. One of the main reasons I'm here, of course, is to solicit volunteers for our group. We're always looking for people to help us out. We have about 35 folks that are active, that are on our rolls as in the Veterans Honor Guard, and we have about 15 or so that are active week in and week out. We do about 5 or 6 funerals in the area per week, so we are very busy. And again, we're always looking for people who are interested in coming out to assist us. Again, the only stipulation is that you were honorably discharged. You don't have to be a military retiree. You simply have just served a number of years and we're honorably separated. And we need veterans and men and women. Let me emphasize, we also have a few women that assist us, which is always needed. But we need veterans from all the services, Army, Navy. We always need Marine Corps members to help us, and currently we need some folks that were in the Navy, naval officers and Navy enlisted to come out and help us. We meet the first Thursday of every month at VFW Post 3181, which is just east of the airport here on Highway 76. We have dinner at 6, and our formal meeting starts at 7. So anyone who's interested, we'd love to have you come out. We provide, of course, all the training, and a common question I get asked is about the uniforms, and I don't want that to be an impediment to any veteran who wants to help us. We'll help you with the proper uniform, and if finances are an issue, that you need financial help in getting the proper uniforms, we can certainly are more than willing to assist with that. As a matter of fact, many of our veterans, before they're able to get or update the uniform or get a proper uniform, will simply wear a white top and blouse and black pants or skirt, as an example. The important things to help us come out and help us give the final salute to our veterans. And again, we're always looking for volunteers to help us. We provide all the training, and it's just a lot of camaraderie in our organization too. We enjoy our mission, what we do, and we enjoy each other, and most of all, we enjoy serving the families of the PD in their time of need. We get a lot of positive comments from the families after we perform the final honors for a given family. So please, if you're interested, let me know. My personal phone number is area code 843-250-8859. Or you can contact us at we have a number for our Honor Guard phone, a dedicated phone line, and that's area code 843-598-8124. So we'll certainly look forward to hearing from you out there, and thank you for the opportunity to come in and be here.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show today. And I don't know if most everyone out there has been to one of the funeral services at the cemetery one time or another. And if you get the services from Fort Jackson or them places, usually they send two people, correct?
Typically it's two people.
Now,
right,
in your ceremony, y'all have the gun salute, the bugle,
That's
the whole
correct.
9 yards, and I'm telling you, this is a lot better. So if you're able to utilize these guys, utilize them, because you'll be a lot more satisfied with the service that you're going to end up getting. And they're near and dear to my heart, the whole group, because they don't get paid. It's all volunteer, but they're very good at what they do, and I really appreciate you guys, man. Y'all make my job a whole lot easier.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for what y'all do.
Thank you. We consider it a privilege to serve. Thank you.
And thank y'all. And now, Mr. Wingard, what kind of stuff we got going on at the Veterans Park and stuff this year?
Well, this is good timing because we have to give kind of a state of the Veterans Park report to the City Council the first of each year, and I just did it a couple of weeks ago, so I have some fresh notes. But before I get into that, I just want to reinforce what Wayne said, that this Honor Guard is, there are really three things in this area that when I travel around the state and I talk about our Veterans Park, I also talk about the Honor Guard, the Veterans Resource Center, and the PD Area Veterans Advisory Council. And virtually nobody has anything like those three groups that work with our veterans around here, and it's just such a privilege to know people on all those groups, and every now and then meet with them, and they do a wonderful job for our veterans. And of course, all of that kind of flows out of your office to a great extent, so thank you. I am the chairman of the Florence Veterans Park and have been ever since the dedication ceremony in 2008. I took over this job in 2009, and I was on the original committee, and it's just been heartwarming to see this park grow and expand, and it's in my opinion, the best park of its kind in certainly South Carolina, maybe Southeast. It's TripAdvisor online. If you go to TripAdvisor and Google Florence, you will find that it is the #1 tourist attraction in Florence, which surprised me a couple of years ago, the first time I saw it, but it's still on there. And people add comments about how wonderful the park is and what a great thing it is. And a little bit of support for that came via email last week. The chairman of the county council in Greenville, who is a retired brigadier general in the National Guard, emailed me about having a committee of people from Greenville to come look at our park because they want to put one in Greenville County. And I told them anytime we'll set up a tour and show them around. But before I get into what happened last year, there's three people / groups that I think should always be mentioned when we talk about our park, because these three groups and people together have been sources of information, sources of work, and just we couldn't do anything much without them. First one is Alex Palkovich, internationally acclaimed sculptor who has several works out there, and they are just, many are bigger than life. These are bronze sculptors, and he is one of only, he's the only South Carolinian among the North American Architectural Group, and I'll get the name wrong, but it's a real tight group made up of architects in the United States and Canada, and you have to be voted in by the members, and you can't come in unless somebody quits or dies, and they have a vacancy, and Alex is part of that. The second is the staff at Brown Memorials. Again, they have gone out of their way to help us make this park as beautiful as it is, both with their expertise, their labor, and just the general confidence we have in going to them for information and what to do and what's the best way. And then third is the city recreation department who maintains the park. They cut the grass, they replace trees that get blown over during hurricanes. They keep it clean. They have one member dedicated to the park, and then once a week or so they have 3 or 4 more come out there that take care of things. So those, you have to thank them up front. Last year was a busy year in the park. We had an event on June the 11th, and I'm throwing this out to let people know that the park is there. It's available for things other than our annual Veterans Day ceremony and a couple of other things that we've done repeatedly. But last June, we had a retirement ceremony for Lieutenant Colonel James Rutown. He was retired Air Force, and then he took a job as the Southeast Director of the Civil Air Patrol, and it actually turned into a fairly large ceremony. I didn't expect as many people. It was quite a crowd. We had a congressman from North Carolina who came to pay his tribute, and the Dean of Operations at the National Space Institute in Washington was the keynote speaker. So it was if you have a military-related retirement ceremony or something. We also were approached about the recruiting command having its change of command ceremony there. The local National Guard battalion, 51st MP Battalion, considered the park for their change of command ceremony when it was held, but they didn't want to risk being outdoors. So anyway, and then in August, thanks in great part to Randy, we hosted a prisoner of war medal ceremony. The former governor, Nikki Haley, authorized a South Carolina Medal of Honor, prisoner of war medal, and we located 2 prisoners of war in the local area. One is Mr. Paul Rung, who was landed on D-Day +1. He was captured and later in the war and spent the rest of the war as a German POW. And the other is Al Agnew from Mullen, South Carolina, and Al has gained some recognition over the years. He's known as the last POW to be released from Vietnam. He was a Navy aviator, and it was great to have both of them there. And we conducted ceremony and read the citations and awarded them both their prisoner of war medals. In September of last year, on September the 10th, actually, we had a 9/11 Patriot Day ceremony. The 9/11 fell on a Sunday this year, so we decided to do it on Saturday. This was sponsored by the Florence Police Department. It had a lot of local businesses, TV stations, and others that signed on to help support. And it was, started with a bike ride. Rolling Thunder was involved. And they rode with fire trucks and other vehicles, and when they got to the Veterans Park, everybody dismounted, we gathered around, we had short remarks, and we laid a wreath at the 9/11 monument in our park. And it was pretty well done, and it was a nice tribute to our first responders and all those that served in the military subsequent to 9/11. And then on Veterans Day, which is our biggest event of the year each year, we had about 700 to 800 people attend. The weather was perfect, and I still receive comments from people that were there about the speaker. The speaker was one of the best I've ever heard. He was very inspirational. His name was Brigadier General Viet Luong, and he was the first native of Vietnam to become a general in the U.S. military. And he touched on leaving Vietnam when he was a 9-year-old child and being saved by the U.S. military and deciding he was going to pay the United States back. And he mentioned he was a U.S. citizen by choice. He wasn't born here. It was just very, very inspirational. And we also added a lot to the park that day. We took the World War I monument, which used to be located fairly remotely, and not a lot of people knew it was there, from the American Legion, and moved it into the park. It's now there. We're actually putting the final touches on it now. It needs a little touch-up work, but it's a great addition to our park. And it's an impressive sculpture or impressive monument that originally was dedicated in 1928. So it's almost 90 years old, and we're glad to have it in the park now. Alex Palkovich, who I mentioned before, had a new monument, a bronze sculpture. It's a lady, an African-American lady, seated on the ground with a tri-folded flag in her lap. And it needs no words or no edification. You see it, you know exactly what happened. She's lost a loved one. Could be a husband, a son, brother, who knows. But anyway, it just grabs you as soon as you see it. And also, we put up partial the U.S. Army Monument. And this is a piece of Indian granite, actually 3 pieces of Indian granite, about 9.5 feet tall, about 4.5 feet wide, and it is hand etched on both sides, depicting actual scenes from World War I, World War II, and Korea, and the other side, Vietnam, Desert Storm, and our current war on terrorism. I think it's going to win some awards. And while I'm speaking of awards, the Air Force Monument we dedicated in 2015 was picked as the #1 public park monument in North America by the American Institute of Commemorative Art. It subsequently won a second place award, or a runner-up award, from another organization as the best new monument in a public park. Our Armed Forces Monument, which is the centerpiece, it has the 3 obelisks and the seals of the military services with the eagle on top, was picked as the best monument in North America for the year 2009. It was dedicated in 2008. And we also have a Desert Shield, Desert Storm monument in the park, which originally was at the old county museum. But when the park opened, the county gave it to the park. But it goes back to 1996 or 7 when it also won the same award as the best new monument in a park. So we've got 3 monuments that are #1 in North America for their year. So that's pretty significant. And as always this year, we put up 36 names on our Wall of Honor. And this is my little commercial. If you want to honor your loved one who is a veteran, or if you're a veteran yourself, honorably discharged, you are eligible to have your name and information about your service placed on our Wall of Honor. You don't have to be dead. You don't have to be. You don't have to have served in combat. You just have to have served honorably. And we can get applications at the Florence City Parks and Recreation Department on Barnes Street. Or you can contact me at 843-601-3800. I think that's about it. We did have one smaller ceremony around Christmas. C.B. Anderson and the Veterans Resource Center donated an oversized wreath, Christmas wreath, which a few people went out and we placed it in the park, and it remained there through the Christmas holidays. So I think that's about it.
Do you have any, I would assume these events are going to be upcoming again this year?
Veterans Day
Is always the same.
We always do it on November 11th at 11 o'clock. That's the 11th month, 11th day, and 11th hour. However, this year, November the 11th falls on a Sunday, so we're going to do it on the Saturday before, November 10th, and that'll make the Marines happy because that's a Marine Corps birthday. But,
That's right.
But it'll always be 11, 11, 11 unless it falls on a Sunday. And thank you for bringing that up. We are hopeful, very early stages, but we're hopeful that we're going to have a very significant monument to add to the park. Just in conversation with some people, we have a pledge. I don't want to say who it is or what the monument will be until we have more specificity about what it's going to look like and everything. But I'm confident we're going to be able to do something this November, other than adding 36 more names to the Wall of Honor. And if you do want to do that, we've got, I think, about 18 applications already. So don't wait till the last minute because we can only do 36 at a time. So that's.
And one of the other events that we have that happens every year is with the cemetery is Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's a yearly thing, and that's normally around 10 o'clock. Memorial Day, the service they have usually.
And we have the laying of the wreaths also.
The laying of the wreaths.
The wreaths across America. Which is
That
typically
happens around in December.
Yes, the first of
And
December.
for any of these dates or anything, if you're not getting them here, you can either contact my office at 843-665-3045, or you can go to the website, which is FlorenceCountyVeteranAffairs.com, and you can get the under resources, you can get all these guys' informations from the Veterans Park to the Veterans Honor Guard, from the VFW, whoever you want to get in touch with military stuff will be under resources. Just click on that and it'll come down. It'll have their emails, phone numbers, and stuff like that. And hopefully I can keep the calendar up to date on whenever we're having events coming up. There's also a calendar on there.
Let me.
Yes.
Memorial Day this year is May 29th. And you're right, the ceremony will start at 10 a.m. We do that because sometimes it gets pretty hot.
Right.
We try to keep it under an hour because we have a lot of our veterans and the veterans' families that come are a little older. So we try to start at 10 and wind up with the formal part of the event by 11. So.
And hopefully, if the county keeps working on it, maybe the VA building will be open by then. A couple of new other things that happened this year we've got us a new DAV van. Thanks to some of our major contributors, the DAV desperately worked hard on it. Mike Rickenbach helped us significantly on it. So did the county. The county stepped up and helped us a lot on it, and there was other people that helped with that. But if you get a chance, it's normally out at the senior center, and what the DAV van does is it leaves Monday through Thursday. It goes to, not every day, only days they have people that need to ride, but it'll go from the senior center to the VA in Columbia. They're giving them rides back and forth from Columbia for the hospital. And they are also looking for drivers. You do not have to be a veteran to drive the DAV van. Anyone can volunteer to drive. Just have a driver's license and go through a little physical thing that they have you go through, and you can drive. If you're interested, get in touch with them at the senior center, because the senior center is controlling the van drivers. And one other thing, we talked about one of the meetings that comes up all the time is the PD Area Veteran Council. That's a very good group. That's where all of us get together. Even any veterans welcome to come. Even people that aren't veterans come that just want to help with veterans. That meeting is the fourth Tuesday of every month at the library at 10 o'clock. So if anybody wants to do something with veterans, to help veterans or whatever, just come out to the library on the fourth Tuesday of every month. We're there at 10 o'clock. Sometimes that changes because of holidays or whatever, but that's usually our regular date. One more thing, some of you may know in the community that the old Crossings Golf Course kind of is no longer. It's under new management. It's now under the Links of Crossing. Now, the new management, for those of you that don't know, when it was at Crossings, we had a golf tournament that we were able to raise enough money to where all Purple Heart people and any active duty person home on leave with leave papers can play for free. All you have to do is come out there with your Purple Heart card or your leave papers where you're home on leave, show them. You can go out there and play golf for free, hit golf balls, ride around the golf course if that's all you want to do. Whatever you want to do, just go out there and have a good time. Because I know whenever I was on active duty and I came home, it's like everybody else was working and I had nothing to do. So now you got something to do. You can go out there and play a little bit of golf if you want to. One good thing that we've got coming up starting 1 March, all veterans will be able to ride the PDRTA for free. Honorably discharged veterans. Basically, you need a picture ID. They're going to use 3 different types of picture ID. One is the VA card, the card that you get if you're a member of the VA, where you get your card at the VA hospital in Columbia. The place that issues them here is Columbia. They'll take your picture and it says VA on it, and it has a picture, but that's one card you can use. The other card that you can use is a DOD card, Department of Defense. Department of Defense has like 4 different ones. They got a reservist, a dependent, an active duty, and you know what I mean?
Retired.
Retired, yes, that's what we got, yeah. Knew we'd forget that one. But anyway, so you got all 4 of them, and you can use them IDs also to ride it. And last but not least, if you don't qualify for any of them, all you need to do is take your DD-214, an honorable DD-214, to the Highway Department and pay $1, and you can have veteran put on your driver's license. And that will also give you a free ride on PDRTA. So hopefully we'll be able to get some transportation. Maybe some of these reservists can use it to get back and forth to the Guard and whatever they're doing on the weekend, whatever they need to do it, just get on there and ride.
That's $1 in addition to the cost of a regular.
That's right. That's $1 in addition to the cost of your if you have to have something else done.
Right.
If you don't have to have anything else done, it's just $1. But if you got to have it renewed and all, you got to pay the renewal and the $1. Let's see, make sure we hadn't forgot anything. Oh, the PX. We were talking about, this is something that's new into the future. The PXs, the military exchanges, whatever they call
PX,
VX, exchange, all the different ones. People that are military know what we're talking about. They're all honorably discharged veterans are going to be able to shop at these places online starting 1 November, correct?
November 11th.
November the 11th. November the 11th. November the 11th, all honorably discharged veterans will be able to go online, shop at any of these different military exchanges for and get the stuff that they want, whatever that is. All right. And I think that's it for us. Do y'all know of anything else that we need to maybe put out?
No, nothing from me. I think we stated everything.
We got all the ceremonies that are going on during the year, all the...
We had a request to do a wedding in the Veterans Park, and the committee had to vote. We vote on everybody that wants to use it, and we approved it and everything. But I'm guessing the bride got antsy about weather possibilities, but I think it'd be a great thing. Again, kind of just in the crawling stage right now. We're trying to get a military band to do a outdoor concert in the park this year.
Yep, and as you can see, a lot of the different stuff in this area is definitely going positive for the veterans in this area. We're definitely moving in the right areas. And if you would like to be a part of any of that kind of stuff, the best way to do it, like I said once before, is come to the PD Area Veteran Council meeting on the 4th Tuesday of every month at the library. And once again, I'd like to thank everyone for watching the show here today. And if you need to get in touch with us, my office number once again is 843-665-3045. And right now, we are at the Senior Center, is where our office is located. And thank you for watching today's show.